everybody to our Built for Better Testing Easy Fit family demonstration. I will just put one thing in the chat really quick. So my name is Ann Connors, and I will be your presenter / demonstrator today. I will remind you just one quick housekeeping thing, just so we don't get disturbance. Please, once you come into the meeting, if you're just now entering the meeting, please mute yourself so we don't have any distractions. And when I get into the demo presentation, if you cannot see the demonstration on the full screen, you can find my name and you'll see 3 little dots when you hover over that. Right click and you should see this icon that says pin. I also have put it in the chat message that if you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the chat during the presentation. We do have some technical experts that can help answer questions while I continue to present, and then I can help answer some of those questions once I'm done presenting. So again, if I didn't already introduce myself, my name is Ann Connors. I'm a field marketing manager for our North America BioMonitoring division, and I am here in our Burlington laboratory, Burlington, Massachusetts. So I am social distancing from my colleague Lamine and also 2 teenagers and a 10-year-old today. So happy to be here. All right. So our family members. So let's meet the Easy Fit family. So we have a lot of different members of the Easy Fit family. I will show you just about all of them today. We have the Easy Pat Curve dispenser, the Easy Stream pump, the Easy Fit filtration units, as well as the Easy Fit manifold. So all of those things that you'll get to see today live on the internet. So first, of course, why are we using these devices? So they're meant for bioburden microbial testing by using membrane filtration. So we have the sterilizable manifold and filter support. So they're autoclavable, really easy to assemble that I'll show you in a few minutes. There is an
We just lost sound, Ann.
Yeah, I can't hear you.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yep, we got you.
Yes. Cool. Sorry, my headphone's a little bit tricky. Hopefully there's not too much background noise. Okay, so introducing our 2 Easy Fit filtration units. So I have the blue and the pink units both here. They're pretty much the same. There's some variations between the pink and the blue, only being that the pink filtration unit does not have the membrane support pad, and it doesn't have the plug that comes with the bulk packaging. Other than that, they come individually packaged, and can also come in our set packaging that I'll be able to show you. So we do have filtration units available in 100 ml and 250 ml sizes. So with our extended portfolio with filtration units, we can test just about all applications, depending on what kind of pore size, what kind of product you're testing, what your regulations are, and what your workflow and your throughput is in your laboratory. So we do have the multi-pack options available in the 0.22 and 0.45 micron versions with the pink funnel. Very easy to open. I do have a set here. It's easier to decontaminate the packaging. You're not wasting membranes or filtration units or wasting the outer packaging with the single units as well. So we do have newer packaging, so more visible packaging with data matrix barcodes, everything that all the information that you need either to write down or for your LIMS system. So we have scannable QR codes with data matrix and even removable labels if you need to put this in a worksheet or a lab notebook. So full traceability here. So there are a lot of filtration unit features and benefits, especially if you are a current user or past user of our soon-to-be obsoleted microfill versions. So the funnel material itself is a lot more clear, so it's easy to see what level you're filtering at. There's all-around level indicators to make sure you poured everything in to where you need it to be. You can see everything as you filter it. There are the two sizes, 100 ml and 200 ml funnels. And once you use them, they're stackable for space conservation when you are disposing of them. They also help employ reduced risk of contamination. So I don't have to dig into my filter unit to try to get the membrane off of my filtration base. There's a little rim that stops the forceps on the bottom of the filtration base. So all I have to do is hit that, lift up my membrane, and transfer it to my media. There's also a vented lid, so I don't need to put the lid anywhere. I can protect my sample during filtration, and I can set it right on top and not have to worry about disruption of airflow there. It's also designed for optimal recovery. So we have a very flat membrane. You do your simple rolling technique onto your solid media, or you add your liquid media underneath the bottom. So it's designed for fast filtration, for efficient filtration. You're getting every single drop out of that filtration funnel through the drain and through the funnel material and through your membrane. It's also less manipulation, at least with the Easy Fit funnel. So I'll show you all of the different types of materials that we have in the filtration family. So if I'm using something like the S-Pack, I need to peel back the membrane film, place this on my filtration head, install my funnel, filter, remove my funnel, then transfer the membrane. However, if I'm using something like the curved dispenser, that peels back the film for me. So that's one less manual step that I need to worry about. However, if I'm using the Easy Fit filtration unit, that eliminates my need to handle that membrane up front. It's already integrated into the filtration unit. So all I have to do is install my funnel on my manifold, filter, remove my funnel, transfer the membrane. So eliminating some steps, therefore eliminating some risk of false positives in the workflow. That is my quick presentation for intros. Before I get into the demonstration part, are there any questions? Are we good so far?
Everything's clear.
Cool. Okay, let me switch over. Give me 1 second.
Need sound.
We're good?
We are now.
Sorry, you can hear me, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Cool. Okay, great. Okay, so this is our, these are S-Pack membranes and our EZ-Pack curve dispenser. So you can see when I talked about those different workflow steps, with this simple filtration device, I do have to open this up, remove my membrane. I'm done. Aseptically, of course. And then I need to transfer this to my manifold, add my filtration unit, my filter funnel, filter, and then remove and put onto my agar media. If I want to make that a little bit more simple, I can use something like the EZ-Pack curve dispenser, where I simply have to wave my forceps or my finger, and it dispenses a ready-to-use sterile membrane for me. So I don't have to open any packaging. I can just simply wave, it hits out another membrane for me. So that, again, is the EZ-Pack curve dispenser. It is plugged in. There is a battery operated model available also if you don't want to plug that into your inside of your laminar flow hood.
Hey, Ann, could you do that a couple more times? It was
Sure
kind
can.
of, yeah.
Happy to. It's fun. So super easy. Right. Oops. So now I'm gonna move over a little bit. Doot, doot, doot. We are taking a little adventure through the lab. So this is our EZ-Fit filtration family, the rest of it at least. So we have our 3-place EZ-Fit manifold here. Some EZ-Fit filtration units. So you can see I have the individually packed filtration units, and there's also the multi-pack that's available. I also have my TSA room temperature storage media that I can use for part of this demonstration as well. There we go, got some light. Okay, so depending on what type of filtration device you're using, whether you are still currently using something like the microfill, but you want to continue using that or your other filtration devices, or utilize the EZ-Fit filtration unit, there is a different sampling head, or I guess filtration base, depending on whatever type of filtration unit you need to use that you're currently using, or you can use the one that's specially designed for the EZ-Fit filtration unit. So I'll just put these aside here. So I'll open up my single pack device, my blue base filtration unit. So I can place this right onto the manifold. It's super easy. The other thing that I'll show you about the manifold is how easy it is to take apart and put together. One of my favorite things about the manifold, being a left-handed person, is I don't need to put my vacuum tubing on any particular side. The manifold base itself is ambidextrous, so depending on where my vacuum tubing is, I can put it on either side, or where my vacuum source is, I should say. It has very large, easy to turn valve handles, and all of the components come apart and go back together very easily. It's just a simple twist and click. So everything on the filtration manifold basically is a twist and click mechanism. It's super easy to put together, very easy to maintain. And again, there's a different type of accessories depending on what type of filtration unit you're using. So right now, I've got my EZ-Fit filtration unit on my EZ-Fit filtration base. Got some liquid sample here. So I can go ahead and filter with my vented filter or my vented head cover. Tubing's a little bit twisted here. All right. Sorry if that was a little bit loud. So now that I've filtered my sample, I can simply remove the top of the filtration unit. Super easy to remove. And now I can also easily remove my membrane. So I mentioned that little rim around the edge. I simply can hit that, lift up my membrane, leave my membrane pad behind. Let's check out my rolling technique here. So I can place that onto my media, no air bubbles. I have a nice flat membrane here. I can see my entire filter sample. I can see the grid lines. And then hopefully that looks the same way as it does coming out of the incubator. I'll leave that one. So we have, again, our multi-pack membranes, our single-pack membranes. We do have some bulk packaging in the various sizes in the 100 ml and 250 ml funnels. Our room temperature storage media again. And then finally, the last part of the filtration, the Easy Fit family, I will show you. We'll take another little adventure here, is our Easy Stream pump. So this is a super easy to operate diaphragm pump. You can see I've got my sample tubing that came from my manifold, my waste tubing going down below. Again, just like the Easy curve dispenser that I showed you, a simple touch. Just a simple press, very, very easy to operate. As you can see, one little plug in the back. So that's our Easy Stream pump. So basically,
Hey, Ann, can you do a filtration with the Easy Fit on the rubber stopper?
Sorry, I missed that.
Can you do a filtration with the Easy Fit on the rubber stopper?
Filtration on the rubber stopper.
That with an Easy Fit funnel.
Got it.
Yeah.
Oh, I messed that one up. So what I can show you is the base of the filter unit as well. So I mentioned that this is the pink funnel. So if you're utilizing a stopper already, that is also specially fit to use the stopper as well as the Easy Fit filtration base.
Yeah, can you take those funnels off and kind of show what the tops of those look like?
I sure can.
On the tops of the tulips.
Oh, sorry, I thought I did that.
Oh, did you? Oh, sorry.
So these are a few of our different offerings.
Great.
So we've got the ones with the stoppers, the Easy Fit filtration base,
Great.
as well as the filter base with the frit.
Super.
So it's a removable frit that's autoclavable too.
Super. Thanks.
Yep.
And we have a question. What is the main difference between the pad on the blue funnel versus no pad?
So it's just depending on the type of sample that you have. If you have samples that might contain antimicrobials, you don't want them necessarily sticking to the pad underneath. So it's really just based on your samples, or if you're testing beverages and have a slightly more dense sample, I guess I would say, you probably don't need that either.
Yeah, the pad helps support, Sarah, the pad helps support the filtration.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're doing water or any sort of regular normal product that filters just fine,
Yep.
the blue funnel is perfectly fine for you. The pink was developed so that that pad is not present that could possibly retain any of the antimicrobial properties of your product. In reality, that probably wasn't going to happen, but it was a possibility. So customers asked us to develop that funnel without a pad involved. So there's both options. If you can use the blue, you should use the blue. It's perfectly fine. And the pad is just there to support filtration, as well as if you were in a liquid media enrichment situation where you can add the liquid media directly to the funnel in sort of it's usually in a beverage application, not in a pharma application. I don't know if you were going to show that, Anne. With the, do you have the ampules?
I do not have the ampules.
Okay, you can break it
Sorry.
down at least and then just show how that ampule would work.
Basically under the bottom of this. And then this funnel would come off, and then this would be your incubation lid, and you would need a plug here after you added that liquid media. Any other questions I can help answer?
Not so far.
Okay. Trying to think if there's anything I missed.
So somebody's asking if we can just show how easy it is to switch out the different tulip adapters to the manifold base.
Yep. So that is so easy. So I've got 3 different adapters here. It's literally, if I can get close enough here, you can see these little grooves kind of here. It looks kind of like a little J. I just twist that like barely and it pops right off.
And what are the configurations of the EasyFit manifold?
Yep, so this is our 3-place manifold. We do have a single place and up to a 6-place manifold as well.
And what are our recommendations for cleaning without an autoclave?
Cleaning without an autoclave. So these are stainless steel. So any material, any disinfectant that's compatible, with stainless steel up into, I would think, a peracetic acid solution, as long as you're not disrupting the gaskets in any way, you should be able to clean it with something heavy duty like that. Other than that, if you're just going through routine use and keeping it in the laminar flow hood, something like a phenolic or maybe even isopropyl alcohol is sufficient too.
Is there any maintenance required for the Easy Stream?
No.
No.
It's pretty simple.
How many manifolds can you stream together?
Well, we have a one. Yeah, we have a one. Sorry, we have a 1, a 3, and a 6-place manifold available, and I've seen people double up on the 3 so they could have a 6-place as they expand it.
That's going to depend on your vacuum. If you have a really strong vacuum in your house vacuum, you could technically stream, a couple of 6-place manifolds together. Our Easy Stream pump, that vacuum pump, you probably couldn't do 2 6-place manifolds. It just doesn't have the strength of the vacuum to pull it.
Sure.
Yeah. So depends on the strength of your vacuum. But most people, if they want a 6-place, they buy a 6-place. If you feel the flexibility of having 2 3-places, you could easily add a little piece of silicone tubing between 2 3-place manifolds and connect 2 3-place manifolds. So Anne, did you want to talk a little bit about the check valve on the drain?
So I can get at it.
Yeah.
Yep, so there is a little check valve on the drain to make sure that you don't get any backflow coming up from your vacuum source back up into your filtration base for sure.
Backflow is probably one of the #1 issues that create biofilms. And if you don't manage this, any manifold, what's nice about this manifold is that it's got a really, really thick filtration tube at the bottom that's easy to clean. So you can just get in there and clean it, because when you have backflow, we've had people who don't clean their manifolds at all, and they've had biofilms form easily within 6 months. So it's easy to clean, and that backflow prevention valve stops your product or your liquid from coming back into the bottom tube and creating a biofilm.
One of the other issues with backflow is because the O-rings in the check valves are very difficult to replace, so people don't do that. Our unit, if you take apart the handle, and you can show them how easy it is to just get the pull up the blue handle. Yeah, that's how easy it is to change out the valves, to change out the O-rings. You pop it out. No tools required, just your forceps, and you'd be able to replace the O-rings. That helps prevent the backflow issues that a lot of people have with old style manifolds. And this is something that you can see it's easily done.
And that we sell little kits that have all of those O-rings. So you can just buy a service kit, and it'll have O-rings for replacement. What about calibration of the Easy Stream pump?
Nope.
No calibration, no.
Literally no maintenance. You plug it in.
Pumps or it doesn't.
Yeah.
And then talk about the tubing level and how you want to drain.
That is another good point. Yeah, so you definitely want to make sure that your tubing, let me point over here a little bit, not twisted like I have it, but at a fair distance, so you're not getting too many kinks in here, and you definitely don't want it hanging up like that to potentially cause any issues. So you want it going straight through the pump and down into your waste.
We have a question about how often you change the O-rings. The pretty much recommended you'd want to do it probably annually at a minimum. And if you're seeing any issues with backflow, that would probably be a good indicator. But it's very common to see that this is done on an annual basis. Somebody would like to see the blue unit taken apart so they could see where the pad is.
Absolutely. So I already have this one that had the filter on it. So if I just take the funnel off where the membrane filter would have been, this is the pad right here. So it's just underneath the filter. And I can lift it up and you can see the drain underneath. So it just rests on top of the drain and underneath the membrane.
Thank you, Ann.
We had Aura made a good point. We said there's no service on the pump. Well, the pump is designed to run at one vacuum. So it's gonna vacuum, and we have that technical document. You're right. It's got to be less than 700 millibar, and it is. It's validated to do that. Sure. And so, Aura, we can send you that document that shows that it runs at that specific vacuum pressure, if that helps. Great. And then Francisco asks, to connect 2 manifolds to one pump is not recommended. And that's what we said with our pump. Our pump is not, it's not on the higher end of vacuum. It's a good vacuum pump that's quiet and designed to be easy to use, so you don't have to use the flask system. But I wouldn't try to connect 2 6-place manifolds, or I wouldn't even try to do a separate, let's call it a 2 3-place manifold with a little tubing in between. Francisco, that's probably true because that pump isn't really meant for that. But your house vacuum could be stronger, and you may be able to connect two manifolds together. It's just every vacuum's a little different, so it just depends. But you're right, Francisco. That's true.
We have a question about why the preference of the blue over the pink? If you could just, why would you select one over the other?
So again, just if you're testing routine water samples, the blue unit is perfectly fine. If you have maybe more viscous samples or samples that might have inherent bacteriostatic properties, people might feel more comfortable using the pink filtration unit. And there's some differences in our packaging of each of those as well. And if you're like me and my favorite color is pink, then you might want to go with that too.
Thank you.
Yep. Any other questions?
That was the last one so far.
Okay. And one of the standard questions that we always get to is if this presentation and demonstration is being recorded and will be distributed. The answer is yes. It can be distributed by the person that invited you, and it will also be posted on YouTube. So if you look under Ann Connors, which is myself, there we do have a YouTube channel that will house this demonstration as all of the other live demonstrations that we've been giving either in our homes or here in the laboratory in the past couple of months.
Hey, Ann, this is actually a good question.